Hey guys, today we're here with a new video on something fairly rare. It's the new P-38K. Okay, well, it's not all that new, but it is new to me. If you're unaware, the April Fool's event packages in the American one, it's the T-29, the Calliope, P-38K, and P-51s and some stuff like that. But I had everything in that package except for this. So, I seized my opportunity to buy it as it's almost never on sale. This plane, as I've already mentioned, is fairly rare. However, it is godlike. Like, holy crap, it's an amazing plane. The way I climb it is I just hit 500 on the deck with a WEP, and then go up at a 25-degree angle, and then bam, 3,000–4,000 meters, no problem. Its armament is 120mm, 120 rounds, and 250 calibers that are all mounted in the nose. Now, for a plane at a 5.3 battle rating, that doesn't seem very impressive. However, as you'll see over the two replays, it is plenty good enough. So I will join you guys in combat in just a moment. Alrighty, after that cut, we find ourselves up at altitude. Now, this thing does climb better than most American planes, so you don't really need a side climb, but I would highly recommend it because then it puts you in when you're in your engagements at a higher speed. This thing is fairly maneuverable at high speeds. In the first game I played in it, I was diving on a J2M2 who decided to try and dive away from me. I hit 800 kilometers an hour, pulled out, and he did not blow to that dive. So now I'm going to engage the Spitfire that's on lower altitude than me, and, well, he decides to go into a dive as well. Whether he saw me and was just assuming I wouldn't follow him, or he didn't see me and he just wanted to kill the friendly Spitfire, I don't know. But as you can see, this plane is very quick, and its ailerons do not lock up at high speeds. The rudders at high speeds do leave a lot to be desired. They don't have the same authority that the ailerons and rudder do, but it's usually okay. So I do make... I haven't played this thing very much. I played 4 games in it. I got 11 kills, no deaths, so I mean, this is the time of this recording. I mean, I have played it more than that, but after that, in this replay I hadn't played it all that much. So I'm just kind of trying to see what it can do, and I did make a mistake. I burned way too much energy in this. But instead of pulling into that scissors, because had I kept in that scissors, that Spitfire would have killed me, I just disengaged. Got long distance very quickly. He never even really had a shot on me except for that one spark. So I'm just going to disengage, and now that he's turned around, I'm going to climb and get some of my altitude back. So this thing is still a boom and zoom style aircraft, as it being American and a P-38. P-38K is really just a modification of the J with more powerful engines and more powerful boosters to the ailerons and elevator for high-speed maneuvering. However, it is very fast, but at the same time kind of slow. As I mentioned, it will rip at 800. Wings will both shear clean off. However, it is still... It can stay near its top speed very easily, whereas most aircraft cannot. So you won't have much of an issue with that. That being said, it being boom and zoom, it is still more of a low altitude heavy fighter than anything else, as the engines lose a lot of performance up at high altitude, and weaping in this thing burns a lot of fuel. So remember when I mentioned that these guns may not seem all that impressive, but can still put a lot of damage in? Quick Burst absolutely wrecks the Firebrand. That's only 120mm and 250 cals. This armament is amazing. I don't know whether it's just that what they've done with the AN-M2s, but they are very, very good on this plane. Or it is very, very good on this plane. So now I decided to turn around and help out some of my other friendlies in the area with this Spitfire. Now, I do not advise going head-on with this thing. Well, the guns are mounted in the nose, and they are fairly good. It's not that strong of an aircraft when you're getting shot at. So, yeah, do keep that in mind. I don't recommend going heads up because it is a very, very big target as well. It is easy to hit, even with wing-mounted guns. So, that is a bit of an issue. And now I'm going back after that Spitfire that was engaging me at the start of the match. So, but I'm going to get to the Lancaster first. So I'll just put a quick burst into the Lancaster. Maybe, who knows, set him on fire, do something to him. But nothing really happened, so I just keep flying on through after the Spitfire. who has a fair idea what he's doing. He put up a fight against all of our planes. There's really not much he could do. We just have such superior numbers. Now, if I could have aimed and hit him with the 20 as well as the 50s, he would have died there. Getting an assist on the Lancaster while I'm putting it into the vertical, down to 6. And my potato aim comes in as I have been gone for quite a while. So I pull up, just so I don't crash, and I get another assist. So, I haven't really done much at this point in the game, but there are only 3 enemy players left at this point. And they are all in Tempests, and I'm going to be seeing all of them. So I pull a quick reversal onto this guy. I mean, he wasn't really trying to engage me, and I try and put a few shots into him. Get a hit, only with the 50s, nothing much. And at that point, he's too far away, and I'm not going to get anything else on him. So, I'm kind of worried about my fuel consumption at this point, because, as I said, this thing burns through fuel on wet. It basically doubles your fuel consumption. And burning 20 minutes of fuel in 10 minutes is not uncommon in this plane. I've already done it twice. So, yeah, this thing you definitely have to watch how much you wet, because your engines won't overheat. It's actually your fuel that you have to be much more concerned with. And there is the other Tempest. Now, these are just Tempest 5s. They are not the Tempest 2s. As this plane can fight Tempest 2s, but they're just not in this match. But these Tempests don't seem to want to fight. They only want to run. And it seems that in a straight line, this thing is definitely slower than the Tempests. So, my plan at this point was to try an RTB, get fuel, get ammo, as I don't have very much ammo left at this point either. It's probably enough to put down 1 plane, but definitely not all 3. So, I'm going to fly back to base. While being chased by another Tempest, my plan was just, okay, well, I'll keep running. Hopefully I'll start to run away as this thing's good at low altitude, or hopefully it just turns around and won't bother to actually run me down. But that never actually happened. So at this point, I'm just gonna gun it and see what he does. I wanted to hit our airfield and be able to land. I didn't have any intentions of trying to get AAA to shoot him down, because I hate people I cannot stand people that do that. But I need to get to base. I don't have much ammo. I don't have much fuel, so I need to land. And just as my turn, my engines start to overheat, and I'm doing some evasive flying because we're at kind of the speed where this thing starts to be very maneuverable. Make a bit of a mistake and fly in front of his guns. Now at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm in a heavy fighter. I should lose this. But I decide to pop my flaps, and that's when I notice just how big the landing and takeoff flaps are on this aircraft. It is super maneuverable with these flaps down. I'm having no issues out-turning this Tempest and this rolling scissors, and he decides to try and disengage here and take it into the vertical. However, this aircraft is very powerful, so it didn't take much to put him down while he was stalling right in front of my guns. At that point, I see another Tempest or some other vehicle pop up on my minimap, and I am panicking, looking all over for it. I have no idea where it is. I've taken a little bit of damage to the inner wing roots, but nothing too major. So that's when I spot the other Tempest, and at this point I figured he was going to try and pull the same maneuver that the other Tempest did. I brake from the head on as I had no intentions in doing it. Just avoid his fire, and I wanted to pull on to his 6. However, this guy is going to be a problem. Literally all he does is run. And run. And run. So, not really much happens for the next 10 minutes of this match. So I'm just going to cut to where something actually happens, because this guy just runs around the map is basically what happens from here on out. Alright, so I've taken off after chasing this guy for 10 minutes. I had to land and definitely get fuel. So, and at this point, I am actually the last remaining fighter on my team. He has managed to kill, that little running bastard has managed to kill almost everybody on our team. However, if he doesn't kill me, he's never going to kill the B-17, because that's kind of where I'm flying to escort, because that B-17 is the key to our victory, as we're equal on tickets right now. So if he can bomb a few ground targets, we can win this game on tickets, no problem. So I wanted to go over there and protect the B-17. However, the Tempest had other ideas and is coming after me. Now, I already saw once where this thing completely outclassed the Tempest. And I just have that feeling that no one knows what to do against this plane because it is so rare. And they're like, oh, P-38, I bet it's a brick. So, put a few shots into him in the head-on, get a hit, probably just the 50s. At that point, I was expecting him to run and be a bitch like he's been all game. So, pull it into the vertical, and then he actually, to my surprise, turns around as well. Both of us can't aim in the head-on, and I'm pulling around one more time, just doing various flap controls, pulling down instead of up this time, so that I'll get the inner loop on him, and I don't miss my shots, and that's the end of this game. So I am going to show you the rewards of this plane on a premium account, just because the rewards on this thing are amazing for a tier 4 plane. I got 3 air kills and 3 assists this match, and it rakes in the RP. This is an amazing grinding plane for anyone who is maybe considering buying that pack, but just doesn't know what this thing is because it's not in the normal tech tree. So when we load out, I'll let you take a look at the rewards, and then we'll hop into the next match. So I raked in a pretty fair share of RP. Now to the next match. So here we are. This one against the Germans. Now, I nearly forgot to press record on this game, and that would have really sucked. So, we're on, whatever map this is, Ruhr. We're on Ruhr. And, so I'd only really been playing Hokkaido on this map, or this plane, because that's all it seemed to fight. And the odd Japanese, this is actually the first time I had fought the Germans. So, now that you know what the match is, I will join you in combat. So here we are, we have now side climbed, and we are above most of the Germans that haven't seemed to climb this match for whatever reason, except for like 2 people on their team. And those 2 people I'm not really concerned with because they're nowhere near me, they're overkilling bombers somewhere, and there is quite a bit of a living drain going down beneath us, and my intentions were definitely to just kill the living train. So this guy singles himself out, and I want to go for him. So I start to dive on him, and he probably noticed I'm there, so I just put a 50 cal burst in, was hoping for a fire or something, and I just pull around. As you can see, this thing pulls fairly high Gs at high speed. It's pretty damn good. Like, I really like this plane. It can turn well, it maneuvers, it's fast, it's amazing in the vertical, as you will see later this game. It is just an all-around good fighter, probably the best heavy fighter in the game. And unfortunately, not many people get to enjoy this gem, but I am one of those people now, so yeah, sucks to not have it. So, you know, get good. So, once again, if I could aim, as I've been gone for most of the week, that 109 would have been dead. But he's not, so I was just trying to stay out of his guns, but he actually decided to roll around and not stay up with me, which was probably a good decision, as he would have been killed very quickly had he tried to. But friendly takes him out anyways, so that's really all that happens around here. And then I decide to go back for altitude and go Focke-Wulf hunting. But that's not going to happen for a little while, so I'll cut to that. Alright, so I've spotted a Focke-Wulf, and I'm kind of calling for help, because there's not one, but there is actually 2 of them. However, I really question the intelligence of the one over here, and that Spitfire is engaging the other Focke-Wulf over there, so I am free to engage this Focke-Wulf in a one-on-one engagement. And I am very confident that this plane can outclass an A-Series Focke-Wulf, as based on what I did to the Tempests last match, because this is literally 2 back-to-back matches that I recorded. So, I see him pulling into the vertical, and I kind of thought he was pulling up after my Spitfire, then I realized how far away he was, and I just hammered the wet, popped my flaps, sprayed, because I'm really, really bad, using vertical targeting at 300 meters, and then he just explodes. So, pretty easy kill there. I mean, he really, I mean, yeah, he had a massive altitude advantage over me, and I still managed to pull up into him. So, this other Focke-Wulf, or 109, I can't remember what it is, he's just gonna do the same thing and run. I don't know if he knew where I was, but I'm not really in a position where I can shoot him. So, I'm going to stay low and just try to catch beneath them and then zoom climb up to him, is what my plan was, but that is not actually going to happen. So, now I am on a major altitude disadvantage over these people. I'm just trying to get the Spitfire. I'm telling the Spitfire to try and get him low. I'm trying to bait him low so that we can have energy over this guy, so that we have a better chance at taking on this Focke-Wulf, as all of us perform better at lower altitude than he does. So that's what our plan was, but plans don't always work out. So I'm just gonna kind of try and chase him down here. I'm calling to any other friendlies in the area what we got. I'm saying pull him low to the other Spitfire below him. He does actually lose some altitude, which is good news for us, but excuse me, he is just kind of gonna run the other way. And there's not really much we can do about that, because while this thing is amazingly fast, only really in a dive. It'll maintain 800, no problem in a dive. It'll even speed rip its wings in a dive, but it will never G-rip its wings, which is something very nice, so that you don't have to really worry too much when you're in a high-speed dive. And that's when I spot the 109 behind us. So I turn around, and my plan is to engage him and keep him busy while our teammates engage the 190. So this 109, he looked like he was going to engage me, so I put it into a dive so I'd get some speed and get this thing maneuverable. And that'll get him to kill some of his altitude, which will help out my teammates in killing him if he does actually kill me. But he way overshoots. But unfortunately, I was not able to get any shots into him, as he had so much speed that when he overshot, he just kept going right on through. So now he's flying towards my other friendlies, and I'm saying, hey, watch out, look, on your 6. Because at this point, this match is a 3-on-3 engagement. So whoever gets the next kill is probably going to win the match, just on sheer numbers. That Focke-Wulf has reached the airfield, and the Spitfire that was on him has turned around. So I decided to do the same thing before I get too close to the AAA. And we all know how deadly airfield AAA is. Fortunately, it doesn't actually claim any victims this match. It just claims some salt on the case of our Spitfire because the Focke-Wulf just ran to the airfield and had no effort to engage because he's pretty trash. So I'm just gonna see what that 109 does at this point. Whether he was going for me or the other friendly Spitfire, I did not know. So I see him going heads up with one of our Spitfires, and that's kind of when I decide to try and turn around and engage him. But I don't really get a good attack lineup on him right there, so I'm just going to continue flying, as I'm just trying to preserve my aircraft to get it into the late stage of the match where I can make a difference in this game. So I kind of form up on the friendly Spitfire, just making sure his 6 stays clear, but that's when the 109 comes in. So I'm going to just make sure that 109 doesn't get me, and hopefully the Spitfire can do the same thing for himself. But that's when I am required to turn around. So these guys have an energy advantage. Well, the 109 definitely has an energy advantage over us. The 190, I believe, is RTB for ammo, fuel, something. And no one wants to go near the airfield. So we're all kind of trying to bait each other for this 109. And the 109 is just trying to pick out the single target and take that target out. Now I have a shot on him here, but I miss, and unfortunately that costs the Spitfire his life. Now, at this point, we just went a player down, so that's very bad news for us. But I put a long distance spray in and managed to snipe that 109 out of the sky, evening the match up very quickly and not letting them really use their numbers advantage. Now, at this point, I need me and my friendly Spitfire both need to RTB me for fuel, him, I don't know, ammo, something. So, I'll catch you once we've done that. So, after a long RTB, I pop a blind hunt on takeoff, and that's when I see where this guy is. And I'm asking, like, hey, bruh, you should, like, actually come down and fight us. But I want to stay close to my other Spitfire, and if you're wondering what happened to the other Focke-Wulf, he crashed killing AAA while we were RTB. Because he's that special child. So, we're kind of just going after this 190. I want to get some kind of altitude. But he says in chat that he will engage us if we do come to him. I hoped that didn't mean altitude, and it actually did. He did come down and dive, to his credit. He did try and engage us. But he didn't use his energy to his advantage, and he didn't boom and zoom right. He didn't really have He knew what he was doing, but not when it came to having such a massive energy advantage over 2 players. So me and my friend, really, the other Spitfire, are really just kind of trying to equalize the energy as much as we can before we engage him, so we have some room to evade his attacks and get his energy low enough that we will have a good enough chance to take him out of the sky. Now, that guy's flying on a flight stick, just based on some of the maneuvers he pulled, and at one point he accidentally flat spawned himself, but was able to recover. So he does have everything he needs to pull this off. He's got energy, and he's probably got ammo, as he, I believe, was the 109 that, or the 190 that RTB'd. He's in an A series Focke-Wulf, an A5, I believe. So he can definitely do this if he plays his cards right, as we are both flying underneath him, because I can't be bothered to climb, and I just wanted this game to end. I mean, I've cut out half the footage out of both of these games, as both of them together were over 45 minutes. So, a lot of random running. So, now, I'm just kind of wait. I want to see what his move is, and I was kind of checking to see if we could just go kill those AI ground units that spawn at games, so that when someone's running away, you can just go and kill those instead. And they aren't actually in the game. So at this point, I'm setting himself up so that he will be on my 6, and I can get him to overshoot quickly. Because he is actually diving, he is going to fight, he's not going to be a pussy and run. Which, I respect him for that, because he knew he couldn't win on tickets, he had to kill us if he wanted to win. So, I'm just trying to bait him for my teammate, but he didn't take it, so trying to do as much as I can to, like, hey, look at me, come kill me while my friendly's over here. He does fly right past me, but he probably could have engaged me a bit more, but it probably wouldn't have worked out for him. So he's just going to run away from the Spitfire, and at that point he must have lost a lot of energy in his dive. I mean, he had about 4 kilometers altitude advantage over us, and now he's not all that much faster, so we have a very good chance of being able to bleed this guy's energy and get him low and slow, where me and the Spitfire will be able to outdo him in every way. So I'm just kind of playing it cautiously, as I just am not sure what he's going to be doing. So I wanted to tell the Spitfire to turn off, but that's when I see what he's doing. He's taking the Spitfire into the vertical. I don't have the speed or altitude to go up with them, but that was a very poor decision, because he just killed a lot of energy. So I evade his shots, and I'm trying to get him on my 6 once again, and he does stay through with that maneuver, and had I been able to aim once again, I probably could have gotten some shots into him, and that's when my blind hunt order actually finished. But nothing on that, so he's going to run again, and now at this point I'm expecting him to go back into the vertical, which is just what he does, which was a huge mistake, as you've already saw what I did the first time to that other 109. It's all a matter of when I pull up, and I can get him in a stall. However, he doesn't actually stall, he just turns around. I mean, why he did that I don't know, but had I been able to aim once again, he would have been in the ground much sooner. Now at this point I don't want to be shooting through the Spitfire, and I don't want to ram the Spitfire, certainly, which is kind of what I think he was trying to get us to do. So I dive underneath the Spitfire, and put some sparks into him there, no damage whatsoever. So I pop it into the vertical so I can stay on his 6, and that's what, at the same time, the Spitfire actually overshoots as well. But he doesn't, he goes, I don't know what this guy was doing. Like, I don't understand what he was thinking going through some of these maneuvers, because he could have killed the Spitfire there, but he decided not to, which gave me a nice approach run onto his 6 again. As you can see, he's doing some snap rolls, nothing too major, and more sparks and a couple hits. So I take it back into the vertical, because at this point I've got energy over the Focke-Wulf, so I'm just going to boom and zoom him like he should have been doing to us. And using proper flap control will also make me much more maneuverable. So at this point he pulls up onto the Spitfire, and that's when I kill his pilot, and that's the end of this match. So once again, I'll show you the rewards page, and if you're watching this video while the pack is still for sale, and you can afford to get the pack to get this plane, you should definitely do it. That pack is worth this plane alone. I mean, even if you just, and I mean, it gives you the T-29 as well, I mean, I already had it, so I didn't have to buy it and stuff like that, but that pack is pretty good. And this plane is probably the best Tier 4 American plane. Bar none. There is nothing better at Tier 4 America than this. And on that note, I will see you guys next time.